The Abyss is one of the craziest places in Crawl. Adventurers unfortunate enough to find themselves here will encounter twisted, ever-changing terrain, a variety of endlessly spawning strange demonic creatures, and little to no hope of escape. But today, we're going to be calling the Abyss our home. That's right, today we're playing as Mlio, the Unformed Horror. This is a Crawl cosplay challenge that demands we embrace the chaos and randomness, playing as the Prince of the Abyss himself. Who is Mlio? He was once a demon prince with a strong desire for power. This desire led him to worship Lugonu, the god of chaos. Mlio betrayed his realm to Lugonu, and in return, the god turned him into a twisted mass of corruption. The description doesn't say this specifically, but it's my theory that the Abyss is his former realm, corrupted by the chaotic power of Lugonu. If you're unlucky enough to encounter Mlio in your run, it's going to be in one of your S branches. He's fast, he hits hard, and he has the unique ability to corrupt the area around him, causing abyssal creatures to pour out and attack anything unfortunate enough to be nearby. So what's it gonna be like to play as Mlio? He's a demon spawn with any background of Lugonu. I love playing demon spawn. There's something really exciting about getting new random mutations every few levels. It makes experience levels feel impactful, and I love building around whatever crazy mutations I get. For our background, we're going to be embracing the chaos by choosing the Wanderer start. Wanderers are a background that start with semi-random gear, stats, spells, and skills. Although this start isn't very consistent, I think it fits the theme of the challenge well, and I don't have a Wanderer win yet, so we'll be making some progress on Grand Player. This is very much going to be a build around what we get kind of run. Our god for this challenge is Lugonu, who is a lot different from other gods. Altars to Lugonu are quite rare outside the Abyss, typically only spawning in themed vaults later in the game. This is going to make it pretty difficult to get our piety gain going early. Typically, you would only convert to Lugonu to get out of the Abyss if you don't think you can survive. Lugonu offers you the ability to leave the Abyss on demand as soon as you start worshipping them, so it's usually better to face penance from your current god and still be alive than to end your run in the Abyss. However, Lugonu does offer some really strong abilities and are worthy of worshipping through an entire 3-rune game. We may need to get lucky here and find an early weapon of distortion or an enemy that can banish us. It's totally feasible to allow yourself to get banished early on if you plan on worshipping Lugonu. It's something we may have to do. Let's take a look at our conducts for this challenge. Number 1. Weapons. Use a weapon of distortion exclusively by the time you enter Vaults, Slime, or Zot. This doesn't seem too hard. Disto weapons are very powerful and fast swinging weapons, so we'll probably prefer one of those. Short blades and whips are good choices for this. Lugonu's capstone ability is to brand a weapon with distortion, so as long as we have max piety before vaults, we should be good. Number 2. Magic. Reach level 18 of summoning. 18 is pretty high for a skill conduct. If we weren't playing Wanderer, we would probably want to go with Summoner so that we can at least make use of some of the summoning training early in the game. But we already have a Summoner win, multiple in fact, so we'll be sticking with Wanderer here. It's really going to be up to our demon spawn mutations and starting stats whether or not we even go with spellcasting or not. I could see certain ways that this character develops where these summoning levels are just an XP tax. Number 3. Rune. Corrupt the bottom floor of every runed branch you visit, excluding the Abyss. This should be pretty easy, we just need to make sure we have enough piety to keep up with it. We really only need to visit 3 runed branches in our run, the 2 S branches and vaults. This does mean that we would need to do Vaults 5, but we could just go down the staircase, corrupt, and leave if we really need to. Alright, let's take a look at the bonus challenges. Number 1. Banish the Lords. Banish a Hell's Lord or Pan Lord. This is something that we'll probably want to do during the Orb run. I don't think it's a good idea to do Pan or Hells just to get this bonus done, as they're both dangerous and kinda hard to get back from. We'll need to train Invo high enough to have a good chance at banishing, and we'll probably have to use a Scroll of Vulnerability to get the Pan Lord's willpower low enough. Overall, this bonus shouldn't be too much trouble, but I could be wrong about that. Number 2. Abyss Shenanigans. Get the Abyssal rune as your first rune. Beware the banished monsters end up in Abyss 1, so the longer you wait, the more crowded Abyss 1 gets. This one isn't as bad as it seems because it doesn't say we can't enter another rune branch before getting the Abyssal Rune. We can still go to these S branches, clear them out for XP, and as long as we don't pick up the runes, we should be good. I don't like getting the Abyssal Rune, but with Lugonu, we can enter and leave pretty much any time we want, so it'll be under the best possible circumstances. All in all, this challenge doesn't seem too bad. I think the biggest problem is going to be surviving the early game, as our early power level is going to be wildly inconsistent. I'm afraid a lot of this is going to be RNG dependent, so I'm expecting to splat quite a few of these guys before we get it done. And splat we did. We died 11 times before we completed this challenge.